Hi there. Welcome to the Imperfect Prophet Podcast for women who wonder. Frankly, as we go through life, I'm sure we wonder about a great deal. First as little kids, then as adolescents, then as young women, then as transitional women. What are we calling ourselves these days? And then you get to this point in life, or my point in life, when you're postmenopausal and wondering what's next. Wondering if the parade already passed you by. Join me, Wonder Wendy. I'm going to be your host as we talk about some of these unique challenges that face women today in a new millennium, going through menopause and trying to live a rich, full life. There might even be a few men and younger women that want to listen in too. That's okay. But there's a roller coaster and we're all on it. And I'm going to be your guide to help you figure out when you should close your eyes, when you should hang on, and maybe we'll explore some ideas for what works for you if it doesn't work for me, or vice versa. So join the conversation, pick up your favorite beverage, and we'll talk to you soon. Welcome to the Imperfect Prophet. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Imperfect Prophet with me, your host, Wonder Wendy. Let's talk about birthdays. Yeah, there are a lot of us out there who really like to celebrate their birthday. I believe that, you should have like a whole week. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Just keep celebrating your birthday because, well, celebrate you. I know there are so many people out there who say it's not a landmark year. So I guess that means it doesn't end in a zero. That's what most people consider a big birthday. Or I guess then you've got sweet 16, 18, 21. And after that, it's all downhill. I don't know. 25, you get to pay lower insurance, something like that. So there are landmark birthdays, and then there are birthdays. And why wouldn't you celebrate every time you do anything? I believe life should be a celebration, and that's why I believe in the wonderful bucket list life. And why am I thinking about birthdays? Because as we approach, when this episode drops, we will be entering my birthday week. And so we should celebrate. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. You know where that tune goes. Happy birthday, dear Wendy. Have a wonderful year. Think of my wish and blow out the candle. It's a cute little nothing bundt cakes. I'll eat that later because we've all learned that me eating on my podcast is not really a pretty thing to look at. And I love food. And so sometimes I get distracted by the food. So we're not going to go there. But happy birthday to me. And guess what? It's not one of those landmark years. So here is my glass. I hope you have a glass, a beverage, a cup, something that you can imbibe while we are talking. This is a wine that is aged in bourbon barrels, and I particularly enjoy it. Cheers to my birthday. And while it's not one of those that ends in a zero, it is starting the year that leads up to another zero. What is it we say now? We level up. So this birthday is number 59. Now, I don't know about you. Not so many years ago, I would have told you that 59 was, getting up there in years. That's a woman who is of a certain age. Well, everyone is of a certain age. But I am of a fantastic age. And I'm happy about being who I am right now. Somebody talked about going back to redo their high school years again. And I said, hell no. Maybe I'd go back to 35 again. And I could make a whole bunch of new mistakes over the last 25 years, 24 years. If I went back to 35. And I don't know about you. For me, the landmark years, the years everybody goes, oh my gosh, you're turning 30. Oh my gosh, you're turning 40. Oh my gosh, you're turning 50. All those years have been, well, non-events because people say, oh my gosh, so much. But it's the years both before and after that have kicked me in the teeth. Like 29, I was sweating out that I was going to turn 30. 39, I was sweating out I was going to turn 40. 49, I saw 50 on the horizon. And here I am going, I'm not turning 59, I'm getting ready to turn 60. It's a funny thing how we trick our brains that way. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what turning 59 can look like. And cheers to that. Yes. And even if you don't look like this, you have lived this long. You have accumulated wisdom. You have learned what you want, hopefully, a little bit. Maybe you've learned what you don't want and you've learned how to avoid it. But would you go back and make all those same mistakes again? Of course you would, because they've made you the glorious person you are today. So yeah, I'm turning 59. And I thought I was really chill with it. And then I was trying to get ready to record this episode. And I got in my own head. I really, really did. Like 59, that's almost 60. 59, that's almost 60. It's really easy to get into your own head and freak yourself out. Have you done it? Have you done that with a number? But, there is a certain truth to the fact that they say you're as old as you feel. And there are mornings when I feel infinitely older, although I don't know exactly what that feels like because I've never been this old before. And there are days I look at my peers and say, why are you letting yourselves get old? Remember, aging happens. Getting old is a choice. And we bucket listers are choosing to live our lives to its fullest, whatever shape we're in. And you've looked around. There are 20-year-olds who are getting old and not having a great life. And there are 80-year-olds, there are 100-year-olds that are doing incredible bucket list items. They're not every day, but you see centenarians on TV that are still tap dancing, that have jumped out of airplanes, that have done all sorts of incredible things. And it makes you realize if you take good care of the vessel you got this body in, there's so much more you have yet to do in your life. And the only thing keeping you from doing it is you. I know, I've had to deal with that. Oh, wait, it's not that I'm too old. It's that I'm letting myself get in my own way. I'm not too old. Just the other day, we saw Kylie Minogue live in concert here in Phoenix. And she's only 2 years younger than I am. And I think she's stayed in a lot better shape than I have for much of her life. But she looks great. She has so much energy. She gave a fabulous performance. And on the close-ups, I believe she was closer to my age. But a lot of times I would have said she was maybe in her 30s or 40s. The energy, the enthusiasm, the love of the audience, the love of performing really pulled her out of who she was. So keep living and live for your friends that haven't gotten this far. I don't know about you, but unfortunately, almost every high school reunion, and this started many years ago, it's not part of age, it's just part of life. We have a fewer classmates to attend the reunion. Mhm. So just living this long is a privilege. And if you are not using that privilege to live your fullest life, who are you serving? Have you thought about that? You have been put on this earth with the blessing of living to the age you are now, and hopefully you have many years left on the clock. What are you going to do with that time? One of my high school classmates, who was one of my best friends in middle school, and in high school, we kind of picked up different interests. We stayed friends, but we weren't as close as we were in middle school. Through the greatness of social media, we have been able to stay in contact with each other for all these years. She just entered hospice as a patient, and her time is finite, and we're practically the same age. And I have to realize that I love the memories of her that I carry. And I made a promise to her in a message the other day that she will live on through me because she is a part of who I am. Even though we haven't been close for the last however many years, we haven't been that close for 40 years. But we've seen each other occasionally and we've stayed in touch. And we realize we still love each other for the role we played in one another's lives. But I made a promise to her that she would live on and I would live with her in me. And she told me she lives vicariously through me. So even in hospice, she can look at my Facebook or my Instagram or my podcast and continue to see the world and live an alternate reality of her own life. But as I say, I have the privilege of being the one who goes on. And I have the responsibility to use that life, to not just exist, to not just go through the steps, to not just be, but to live a full life and take on the challenges and make a difference. What does making a difference mean to you? Is it in the life of one person, your grandchildren, your pets, animals in general? Is it being a larger part of a fundraiser or helping your community? But you are here and you are alive. And I encourage you to use that to your fullest ability. Cheers to that. I should just keep cheering to things, and then we'll see how silly I can get in 20 minutes. I don't usually, I just have one little glass, so I don't think I'm going to get that crazy. But living your fullest life, living the wonderful bucket list life. I had an invitation to compete in a dancing competition, and I really struggled with that invitation because I am not a great dancer. Even though I've done musical theater, singing was more my jam, and a big personality was my other jam. But dancing, I'd learn a few steps and I'd smile and shoulders back and tits out, and there I was. Don't look at my feet. So being invited to be in a dance competition, kind of a daunting feeling, but it was to raise money for an incredible organization here in Phoenix. And I took the meeting to talk about it and found out that I have schedule conflicts. So this year is not going to work for me. But I said, put me on the list for next year. We're going to try and make this work. Because my love of the community and my enthusiasm could make a difference in the lives of young people by participating in this competition. And hopefully I could inspire some other people who are no longer young to live their best life by doing a dancing competition. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I am saying when you see a challenge and you see a place where you can make a difference, where you can make an impact, what's keeping you from doing it? Because the incredible thing is when you get out of your own space and you commit yourself to your community and you make a difference, it's like that throwing a rock in the water. The ripples are going to spread and spread and spread and spread. And you can watch that happen. And as you watch that happen, you're going to be like the Grinch, whose heart grew 3 sizes. Was it 3 sizes that day? Wow, I'll have to go back and watch the Grinch's Joel Christmas or read the book. again, because I don't remember exactly, but I do remember his heart grew that day. Went from teeny, teeny to big. And when you grow your heart and you grow your love for other people, it comes back to you tenfold. So birthdays, cake, temptations, celebrations. Have the celebration. Go out and everywhere you eat the week of your birthday, say, it's my birthday. And take the accolades. Have fun. I sign up for all those loyalty clubs and I get all these coupons, which I expect probably I'll be getting in the next few days. I'm starting to get them already. And I love getting all those little gifts. Even though it's funny, I've already said to my husband, I'm like, we have so much stuff. You don't have to worry about getting me a gift this year. But let's talk about a trip. Let's talk about doing something special for my birthday. Everyone should do something special for their birthday. And maybe a few days leading up to and a few days after. When one of my girlfriends was turning 50, okay, she was only 47 at the time, she says, hey, my 50th birthday is going to be coming soon, and I expect you all to do something big for me. Okay. A day or two later, I'm making dinner reservations for the group of us to go out, and the maitre d' on the phone says, are you celebrating anything special? And I said, yes, we are. We are celebrating Stacy's 50th birthday. Now, she's sitting across the room from me and nearly fell out of her chair. So for 2 years, we prepared to celebrate Stacy's 50th birthday. You know what the funny thing was? By the time she hit 50, she was like, wait, I'm only turning 50? I feel like I've been 50 forever. So, don't be afraid to say, I want to celebrate life. I want to celebrate my birthday, whatever that number is, because it's a privilege to have gotten there. It really is. And then make the most of that birthday by loving and including your community. And let your friends celebrate with you. There are lots of ways to celebrate your birthday. People don't have to come to you. If you're sitting home going, nobody's celebrating my birthday and I'm all alone, guess who's to blame? You. You are. When it's your birthday, do a reverse birthday. Nobody remembers it's your birthday. And I did this once with my daughter, Becca. It was her birthday, and her father was gone. He was in the Army. So there were many birthdays and events that he missed. And that's part of the job. And that's why we need to thank our service members for their service. But I didn't want her to feel like she was forgotten because we were going to celebrate her birthday when her dad got back, which was only a few days late. But on her birthday, I said, let's have a reverse birthday. And we baked cupcakes and decorated them together. And then we walked through the neighborhood and gave people cupcakes and said, we're celebrating Becca's birthday. Please celebrate with us. It was delightful. So many people found a little something to give her, but just having people say, thank you, and it's happy birthday, and celebrate with her was huge. So don't sit home and feel sorry for yourself, waiting for someone else to make your celebration happen. You can make your own celebration. Now, if you're not as brazen as that, pick a friend that you say, really worried nobody's going to do anything for my birthday. Would you like to do something for my birthday? And see if they want to do something bigger, or maybe the two of you just go on an adventure. I'm already talking about what my 60th is going to look like. Lots of thoughts, lots of ideas. But again, I haven't done a really great job with the big decade ones. I had a really crappy 32nd birthday. Nobody remembered my 32nd birthday. It was really sad. And for some reason, that suddenly hit me like, wow. When I was 30, I was just 30. When I was 31, I was just past 30. When I was 32, I was into my 30s. I thought it was awful. I had an awful, awful day. Guess who let themselves wallow in self-pity instead of saying, hey, we're going to celebrate my birthday? My 40th birthday, likewise, kind of went by, boop, didn't just happen. So when I got to my 42nd birthday, remembering that 32nd birthday, I threw a giant party because anyone who's read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy knows that the meaning of life is 42. So 42 is definitely a landmark birthday. That deserved a birthday party. We had so much fun that night. So don't be afraid to pick a number that you want to celebrate. It doesn't have to end in a 0. It could be any number. Just say, we need to have a celebration. I'm going to be awful and admit I don't remember what happened on my 50th birthday. Huh. That was the year we bought the condo out here in Phoenix. But I don't remember my birthday. Guess it wasn't a big one. So planning for my 60th. Got a whole year to plan now. The year of planning starts now. Join the fun. If you have good ideas for celebrating the 60th birthday, please let me know. Because this sassy broad, I'm not going to use the word old. Thank you very much. Cheers to that. I just took another drink. Refuses to acknowledge that she's getting old because I'm not going to. My mind stays young. I am energized by living my life. I am energized by taking care of myself and having friends and being active. Do something to keep yourself from getting old. It's that simple, quite honestly. And you know who you are if you're letting yourself do that. But you know what? If you're a bucket lister listening to this podcast, you're not going to get old because you're doing the work. You are talking about what makes a difference and making a difference in your life. And that doesn't mean you have to color your hair. It doesn't mean you have to wear makeup. It doesn't mean you have to have Botox. It means a mindset. Getting old is a mindset. Everything else is superficial. Yeah, I do some of the superficial stuff, but keeping yourself young is between the ears, not on the front. So make sure you're taking care of that. Now, granted, if you are dressing the way your grandmother did at your age, you may be doing it wrong. Because do you want to be your grandmother or what we considered a grandmother however many years ago that your grandmother was your age? Now, I have much older grandmothers, so my grandmothers were really old. And both of them had tight buns and wire rimmed glasses and wore house dresses. And you will not, I do occasionally wear a tight bun, but I wear it in a fashionable way with big earrings. Okay, I'm a little vain. A little. Because I like to look good. Yeah. When I don't want to look good, oh, get out of my way. You'll know when you see it. You remember my blanket fort day, sitting there with a blanket and looking down? Yeah. And they were allowed to do that too. You're allowed to have off days. But when it's time for a celebration, be loud, be proud, and celebrate who you are. Celebrate your life. Celebrate that you've made one more turn around the sun. Because you know what? There were times in my life when I was a wild child and I didn't think I'd make it past the age of 20. Then I didn't think I'd make it past 25. And I've more than doubled that number now. So, yeah, I've defied the odds just to be here. Why shouldn't I celebrate every birthday? Why shouldn't I celebrate the best of life? Cheers to that. And so, with that little reminder, sing happy birthday to yourself. Go into a crowded place and announce it's my birthday and see how many people sing happy birthday to you. That happened to me one time. Well, I didn't instigate it, but I wasn't planning on celebrating my birthday one year on my birthday. I was in my 20s. We were in Germany. Oh, And I was still married to that Army officer at that time. And he was in the field on my birthday. So I said, you know what? It's not a problem. We'll celebrate my birthday when he comes back. And I'm okay with that. You can shift holidays in my world. That was before I learned that you can have a birthday for 2 to 3 or 4 weeks if you wanted to. Or if you're Stacy, you can have a birthday for 2 years. But knowing that, I said, it's okay. It's my birthday, but it doesn't really matter. And I was actually volunteering with the Officers' Wives Club at a German festival in town. Well, the ladies found out it was my birthday. And then the Germans found out it was my birthday. And guess who thinks Germans are a big deal? Germans in a fest hall. And the next thing I knew, I was being escorted from where we were selling ice cream into the main festival hall. And everyone in the fest hall was singing happy birthday to me. I was presented with a large bouquet of flowers. And it was an amazing experience. So that little pity party of mine, which I wasn't trying to have a pity party, got turned around because I let people in. So don't have a pity party when it's your birthday. Don't have a pity party because you're turning 59 or 60 or 75. Whatever the birthday is, it's a big deal because you survived to get to this point. And if this is your last birthday, make it big. Let's hope it's not your last birthday. What is it they say? Plan like you're going to live forever, but celebrate like you're going to die tomorrow, or you've only got today. That sounds like a more positive thing. Plan like you're going to live forever, but celebrate like you only have today. So, cheers to that. Have a wonderful week. And let's hope that somebody remembers it's my birthday. And we have a wonderful celebration. Because 59, just a number. Do you remember when you thought that was old? Oh, well. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, I'm Wonder Wendy, and I look forward to talking to you again. Like what you heard here today? Then we should be friends. I suggest you join my Facebook group. It's a good way to connect. We can have a conversation. Ask me questions, whatever you want to do. It is called the Wonderful Bucket List Life. That's Wonder-Full Bucket List Life. Be a bucket lister and join me on this adventure. Or you can go to my webpage, which is Wonder Wendy and Friends. Join the mailing list, learn about the book I wrote, adventures that are coming up in the future, and other podcasts. I look forward to talking to you soon, and stay hydrated. Have a great day.